Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. The topic of this 10-minute moan is a Branchform update brought by the Sunday Mail. I believe it's on the Daily Record website, but I think it was from today's Sunday Mail. Oh yeah, it was, because it was by John Ferguson, Sunday Mail political editor. Kind of gives it away a wee bit. So before I start on that, people often ask how can we help the channel and its growth? It's very, very simple. A few things you can do. You could become a member if you wish, or subscribe if you haven't already done so. But the easiest, quickest thing you can do to help drive figures to the channel is click the thumbs up button down towards the bottom of the screen. Okay, so the headline is, please consider SNP stolen goods charge as part of investigation into party finances. Operation Branchform detectives are investigating whether the crimes of Reset could have been committed. That's a bit serious. Police are understood to be considering charges of possession of stolen goods in relation to the SNP finances. Operation Branchform detectives are investigating whether the crime of Reset could have been committed. Nicola Sturgeon's husband and ex-party chief Peter Morrell was charged with embezzlement last month. The couple and former SNP treasurer Colin Beattie were previously questioned by police in relation to a probe into more than £660,000 worth of donations. A source told the Sunday Mail more charges could come at any time. This is a wide-ranging inquiry, and the fact that a report has not yet been sent to the Procurator Fiscal by the police suggests the police are not finished. I think most people are sort of thinking the reason that the Procurator Fiscal has not been notified yet possibly could be that Mr. Morrell, who has been charged, could face more charges, but the more probable is there may be more people facing charges. And a source before Christmas suggested to me that the people, and a number of people that were being looked at, exceeded the 3 people that had been arrested and released without charge last year: Morrell, his wife, and Colin Beattie. So who knows where we're going with this. However, Reset is a crime of possessing property knowingly acquired by theft or by robbery, fraud, or embezzlement, and intending to retain it. Reset can also be committed by being privy to or involved in the retention or keeping of property which is known to be stolen. Probably the first one, I would imagine, is more likely here, which is knowingly acquired by theft, robbery, fraud, or embezzlement. When there's a man already been charged with embezzlement, that would kind of probably be the most likely thing that's happened here. And that takes me back to potentially camper vans, potentially Jaguars, potentially the whole list of other items that were leaked to the press that had been looked at, and purchases for various other things that were been looked at by a police investigation. I think last year that information came out. Last week we revealed senior leadership of the party are preparing for further activity. I wonder how senior leadership of the SNP would be preparing for further activity. How would they know? Anyway, police launched a formal investigation into SNP's finances in July 2021 after receiving complaints about how donations were used. Complaints had been received over more than £660,000 in donations given to the party for the use in a fresh independence referendum campaign. Sturgeon and Murrell's home had been searched, as well as SNP HQ in Edinburgh. Police also seized a camper van from outside the Dunfermline home of Morrell's mother. A spokesman for, this is a surprise, for the SNP said it would be inappropriate for them to comment. They always do, don't they? So that's where we're up to with the latest development that's been leaked, which I would imagine is from the police, about the investigation. I find it frustrating that the time taken, but I do understand that if it leads to more charges and then eventually a criminal trial, then so be it. It just takes time. I think a lot of people can get a wee bit frustrated with the time and thinking there might be some sort of cover-up. And I've got good reason to believe we're past the opportunity of cover-up. I do believe there were suggestions made in the past to those investigating the case that they should maybe call a halt to it. I'm not going to go much further than that, but I do believe that happened previous to any arrests, and those investigating the case weren't really that interested in putting it to bed, as may have been suggested to them, and they may have been moved off the case eventually. So I think the opportunity for cover-up, I think the opportunity to sweep it under the carpet, I think these have all passed, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think the public or even the media or the opposition, the politicians, I don't think anybody in Scottish society would accept this being swept under the carpet any more now that there's so much of information out in the public domain, and indeed some charges. I don't think there's many that would accept just one person going on trial for this thing, which is obviously widespread. And so it's probably past the point of cover-up, I do admit. And I think, can you imagine what would happen if this investigation was suddenly dropped and nobody went to court? Can you imagine the reaction to that? So I think we're past that point. I think it's safe to say we're past that point. However, if I'm wrong, we would then see the reaction that the public would have to this thing being put to bed. It's too far gone. It's too much money being spent, too much time, too much stuff done in public. And I think one of the major turning points, if I'm perfectly honest with you, for getting past the point of no return was the big blue tents outside the Murrell Sturgeon House last year. That was just made it front and centre across the whole world for everybody to see. This is serious, and there's things happening. I said that at the time, I repeated it since, that I thought that was a very in your face. I don't know what the need was for a blue tent, I need to be honest with you. It might be, but I think there might have been a lot of people in society who have been investigated in a much quieter way. But I don't know if there was any need for that big blue tent outside their house. I'm unsure what went on inside the blue tent. But I thought at the time, that's a very visual marker being put down, that this is serious and this is not getting swept under the carpet. If anybody was one that swept under the carpet, we'd never have known about it. We might have found out, but we certainly wouldn't have had half the world's press outside Nicola Sturgeon's house in Uddingston and a big blue marquee put up there. That wouldn't have happened. So, cover up, I'm kind of not buying that at the moment, to be honest with you. I think we're well past that point. And I think it's interesting, if you think back to before Morell being rearrested and eventually charged, we started seeing information coming out days before it. Then the arrest happened. I think history is repeating itself here, if I'm perfectly honest. Okay, so if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed already, please consider doing so. And if you have, hit the notification bell, and YouTube will tell you every time I put a video out. So unless you are the SNP, the ever dwindling cult, or any of these people under investigation and or arrested and charged by the Branchform investigation, everybody else in the world, have a great day. Cheery bye now.